Hey everybody, welcome to a Moment of Clarity. I'm Lee Camp. Let's get into it. So I talk a lot about the planetary destruction we're going through right now. One of the big questions I get is whether technology will save us from ourselves, or will we be able to turn the whole planet into some sort of giant hot pocket before the technology is able to save us. Basically, it's us trying to kill ourselves versus Teddy Ruxpin on steroids trying to save us. And so far, Teddy don't got shit. Teddy just can't handle the load. We are destroying our own future at a pace that our robo-saviors can't even comprehend. I mean, Roomba is still flummoxed by a dog toy in the middle of the carpet. Something tells me it's not going to clean all of the oil out of the Gulf of Mexico anytime soon. I mean, when you really step back and look at the big picture, are we even trying to create the right kind of technology to save us, to save our future? Most of the technology we make doesn't really do anything that useful, such as fucking leaf blowers, okay? Or diamond polishers, or 90% of everything we do on our iPhones, or self-sustaining, super extending, rechargeable, high fructose, USB compatible, lithium powered nose hair trimmers, or the device I got my parents 2 Christmases ago. It was a weird little machine that you can call from your phone when you're away from your house, and it will allow you to speak out loud to your dog. Then you could dispense treats onto the kitchen floor for your dog to gobble up. So basically, your home alone dog hears your disembodied voice saying, "Hi, Poochkins, how are you?" And then the ghostly voice projectile vomits doggy treats across the linoleum in a loving yet one can only imagine shocking manner. And look, before you say anything, yes, I realize this makes me part of the problem. I absolutely am part of the problem. This makes me a middle-class American shithead. I know it. You don't have to tell me. As penance, I self-flagellate every day in the form of drinking my coffee before it's cooled down enough. But I can't get out of this insane consumerist culture fully. I can't do it either. I'm in the middle of it. I don't know what to get my fucking parents for the holidays anymore. They're 80 years old, and a hemorrhoid pillow just doesn't seem to have the Christmas spirit that it used to. Look, I'm not able to get out of this fucked up culture we've created. I'm able to maybe minimize my participation in it, but I can't get out. I don't want to live inside a cardboard box in the woods, so therefore I'm part of it, just like you. But we've created this culture where you have to give people things for their birthday, or for Christmas, or their divorce party, or their annual colonic, or whatever the fuck. But here's the thing, except for the truly poor in this country, and I get that there are truly poor in this country. It's fucking awful, and it's ridiculous in one of the richest countries in the world. But except for that group, which is not most people, if someone needs something really bad, nowadays, they just buy it. If they need a coffee maker, they get a coffee maker. Sure, they might not get the top of the line $1 billion one. They might get the shitty one off of eBay, or they might put it on a credit card that they can't pay off. But the point is, one way or another, if they really need a coffee maker, most people end up with one. This is different than the Christmas of like the 1930s, when you gave people things and they had no way of getting them. You blew their minds. You gave them a pound of chicken livers and they were like, "Oh my God, we're going to survive for another month. This is incredible." That's how it used to be. If you found a ripe fig on a tree, that was the equivalent of giving someone a toaster oven these days. But now in America, very few people in this country are going to die without their birthday present. We're in a post-scarcity world. So that means we're all just giving each other shit. We have to make up shit to give each other that most of the time you don't need. Here's a sweater for your treadmill to dress it up for the holidays. Or here's a new coffee maker that's better than the last one because it talks out loud and yells, "Coffee's ready," at 6 a.m. in the morning. Or here's a machine that lets you shoot treats at your dog when you aren't home. Nobody needs any of this shit. We just have to give it to each other so that the other person thinks you love them. Just loving someone, way not enough. Way not enough. You got to prove it now by giving them something they don't need so that they can lay it out on the curb for the garbage man to pick up a week later. So I feel like an asshole, even as I'm buying this stuff, because I know it's awful. I picture the people building it in Guam or wherever the fuck. I picture the conflict minerals inside of it. And I can't believe humanity went through that much trouble to create a machine for a dog, but I need my parents to know I love them, and apparently this is the only way. I tried hugging them once, but it was awkward, and it really just upset everyone involved. Took me years of therapy to get over that hug. And by the way, after all that, the dog was terrified of the fucking machine. Every time my parents' disembodied voices started blasting out of the toaster-looking thing, the dog would apparently go hide in the closet for the next hour. Then later, he'd come back out once the voices had stopped to get the treats off the floor that he assumed were the reward for hiding in the fucking closet like a smart dog. Point being, most of our technology is garbage. But there's a lot of great important technology out there, and the question is whether it will save us from ourselves. Will it save us from climate change? Will it save us from plastic pollution? I don't know. I don't have the answer. I know we should rely on that happening right now. We shouldn't rely on that happening. But that being said, I actually do have some good news that I brought you just to wrap this up. Didn't want to leave you on we're all going to die tomorrow. So this is from New Scientist. This is some of the new technology coming around to try and save us from ourselves. This is the headline is "Rock Dust Could Help Avoid Catastrophic Climate Change." And that's right, rock dust. Here's a quote from the article. "Spreading rock dust on cropland around the world could save around 1/10 of humanity's carbon budget, the amount of carbon dioxide we can afford to emit without triggering catastrophic levels of global warming," which I think we've already triggered. But you see, because we are so glaringly fucked with climate change, we will need multiple techniques to sequester carbon and take it out of the atmosphere. And apparently one of these could be rock dust. Rocks naturally absorb CO2, so by breaking them up into dust, you've created a lot more surface area so they can sequester a lot more carbon. And apparently, rock dust is also very good for farmland. So you kill two birds with one stone, or rather you allow all the birds to keep living by crushing up a lot of stones. Man, did we turn that saying around. Now the birds are winning and the stones are fucked. Anyway, this is one of the many new techniques to help deal with climate change, and we're going to need all of them, all of the tricks that we can come up with. Sure, ideally, we don't have to do shit. Ideally we don't. Ideally, we sit here and we shoot dog treats out of a fucking microwave oven while scratching our balls or our vaginas or what have you, and everything would fix itself while we do that. Yes, I would love for that to be the case. I'm tired too. I'm fucking tired too. I don't want to fight every day to try to create a sustainable world against sociopaths who run the fucking planet. But alas, I don't think the vag scratching is going to fix it all. Maybe some things, but not all of them. All right, that's been your moment of clarity. I'll check and see if you have some questions that I could answer right now. But just to let you guys know, I do these every single weekday. You can get them at leecamp.com, except sometimes. And so, yeah, go subscribe at leecamp.com. What was the other thing? Oh, yeah, I've started taking my last moment of clarity. I've started taking topics. If it's a topic that I'm informed on and that I feel is important, I will do a moment of clarity on it. I did one. The last one was actually sent in by a viewer. And so you can send those topics to leecampmail, MAIL, at gmail.com, leecampmail@gmail.com. You can send me topics, and I can't promise I'll get to it, but I'm going to start going through some of the topics you guys send. if they seem to be good. If you send me shitty topics, then no moment of clarity for you. All right, so no questions. This guy's cocaine is made from plastic. Interesting. I don't know if that's gonna do the trick for what you're looking for. Let's see. Anybody got any questions? Anybody got any comments? Other ideas for how we can solve this goddamn puzzle? Can you take a topic to conclusion? Julian, this is from Ed Stelling. He says, can you take a topic to conclusion, Julian Assange? I don't know what that means, to conclusion. You're saying I'm not concluding it? I think I'm fucking concluding these things. I'm getting to the bottom of this shit. Julian Assange, I've covered Julian Assange endlessly, probably more than almost every other show, with the exception of like 2 journalists who basically do nothing but Julian Assange. So yeah, Julian Assange definitely needs to be saved, first and foremost. I'm excited that, I don't know if you guys saw this, the poster that I created, Lucy Dyer, I asked her to create this poster and she did a great job. And it says, free Julian Assange, jail the war criminals. I love that it's kind of gone viral. It's kind of all over the world. You'll see photos of people using it all over the world. So that's exciting. Let's see. So, solar power, wind. David Kapoor wants to know, when will war become distasteful? That's the politest way to put that. When will war finally become, just not as trendy as it is right now? When will it become something that's just a little, you're like, oh no, I don't, not today, not with the war today. I'd say we could go beyond distasteful. I think we should get to the point where everybody views war as fucking repulsive. And by the way, what Biden, they're already talking about what Biden's going to do. One of the things Biden's, his upcoming, I can't remember, it was the person he's considering for defense secretary, who it was, but one of them was saying, yeah, Biden's going to end the forever wars and he's going to replace it with much more tactical strikes and things like that. So basically you're saying that we're going to stop having quite so many troops in these countries, but we're going to maintain war at them, war with them, war in those countries. Tactical strikes within a country, within a sovereign fucking territory is still war, assholes. So yeah, they like to, basically he said Biden's going to redefine, you just change the wording a little, create a new euphemism. Well, it's not war, it's not one of the wars, it's just tactical strikes. What do you think war is now, you fucking twat bags? Let's see. Yeah, exactly. Tony says, how are drone strikes better than troops? I agree. It's only better for our people, which was one of my problems with Tulsi Gabbard. I think she don't get angry. I think she said a lot of important things, but she apparently, at least in the interviews I've seen, it seems largely just fine with the drone wars. Her concern for ending the wars and getting the troops home mainly seems to be for the American troops, which I'm fine. If you want to be concerned for the American troops, you do that. But you also should be concerned for the other fucking masses of humanity whose lives we're destroying. It should not just be about American troops. So she seems to think that you can just keep doing drone wars and not do troop wars, and then that makes it morally fine. No. Let me think about it. No, it doesn't. You're still blowing up innocent civilians that you call, fucking insurgents, or whatever the new term of the week is, whatever the new branding is that's been created by some group of PR specialists in a fucking boardroom. And we're not, the people don't like the term insurgents anymore. Maybe we can call them surly fellas. The insurgent seems to have outlived its brand usefulness, so we're going to go on to a new scallywags is what we're calling them now. We're going to move past insurgents to scallywags. We only blow up the scallywags. Anyway. Scooby Snacks is asking if I like Jimmy Carter. I honestly have not studied a lot of Carter, so I think he's from what I know, which is not a ton about Carter, he was better than your standard U.S. empire president, but he wasn't like, it's not like night and day. It's not like he was Nelson Mandela or Martin Luther King. He was better than Reagan, but then again, a fucking bubbling infectious pile of disease is better than Reagan. So, let's see here. Scooby's also asking who my favorite president is. I think that, I haven't studied Carter much. I have more studied JFK during his shift. I think JFK was going through a tremendous shift, it seemed, in his presidency. This doesn't mean he didn't do horrible shit, but it means he was waking up, and that's basically why he was taken out. I mean, through back channels, this has now been completely verified. This is not theories. Through back channels, he was creating peace with the Soviet Union that he couldn't even tell his own government about because they were in the middle of the Cold War and they really wanted to view the Soviet Union as our number one nuclear enemy. And he was in back channels. He was creating peace with them. He didn't. The Bay of Pigs was largely designed to entrap Kennedy into war with Cuba, like full on war with Cuba. And because the people who proposed the Bay of Pigs, the Pentagon or CIA, they knew that what would happen. They knew what would happen. They knew the U.S., the people we were supporting at the Bay of Pigs would get captured. And they were hoping that at that point, they could then push Kennedy going into Cuba. And he refused to do it. He refused to fall for the bait and invade Cuba during that moment. He also gave a speech. I think it was like 2 months before he was executed. He gave a speech talking about how, important the Soviet Union was as an ally, how important they were in World War II, basically a new age of peace. He also, behind closed doors, was saying he wanted to get rid of the CIA. So I think that JFK, after his shift, probably I'd view that as one of my favorite presidents. But I'm not a historian. I just know some shit. Let's see. Scooby wants me to marry him or her. I'm going to assume that this is the actual animated Scooby-Doo. And if that's the case, then yes, I will marry the animation. Let's see. I'm not quite sure what Anna Jackson's saying. The Amazon Fire can turn on your TV or something. But I will say that I don't know anything about Amazon Fire. I know Amazon's a fucking awful, evil corporation. I will say that for many of you saw this, that when the leak came out of CIA's Vault 7, it showed that they can control smart TVs, smart tablets, all that shit. And they can turn them on, but they don't appear to be on. And they can just listen. They can use your smart TV or your smart tablet or whatever as a listening device in your home without it looking like it's on. So that your TV can look off and they can turn on the audio setting that normally would allow your TV to listen to you so that you could say, hey, go to channel fuckity fuck, and it'll do it. And they can use that to listen to your conversations. And that's what Vault 7 showed, that they have that capability. So if you have a smart TV sitting on your fucking counter, I don't know. They sit on counters anymore. I don't own TVs anymore, but they on the wall. They stick to the wall, right? That's how they do it. They take the repairman comes in and a cable guy and he chews up some bubble gum and he sticks that to the wall and then the TV on that, right? That's how that works. Yeah, they can. If you have one sitting there, they can listen to you. And then they've got the Ring doorbells, right? So they can watch you. They can watch you walk into your house. They can basically watch and see you at all times. Let's see. Anything else? I'm going to wrap up here in a minute. Let's see. Vienna Day says technology might save the planet by eliminating us. Yeah, I talked about that on a Redacted tonight. There is a justifiable fear of AI that it could become so immensely powerful and intelligent. I mean, imagine a device that has the entirety of the internet's knowledge or whatever we want to call it instantaneously. and it could decide. AI could decide. There could become a moment where AI decides that even if we've programmed it to, let's say, create the best possible world, which they wouldn't do, right? They're going to, whoever gets the best, most impressive AI is going to use it to grab the most money. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be, how can we steal the most money from everybody as quickly as possible? But let's say they created a one, just for just to play the mind game here. What if they said, they created AI, and we inserted as its mission to create the best possible Earth, the best possible planet. Do that for us, AI. And it may go through the analysis and decide, well, the humans are the ones killing everything, so let's get rid of that. And you know, I don't know how quickly, if we're wired into our brains at that point, as Elon Musk wants to do to us, they can just zap all our brains instantaneously and kill us all. So that'd be fun. That would certainly be an interesting end to this story, I think. But yeah, I to give the example of how this could work, they created an AI program. This has already happened. They created an AI program that was designed to land planes, and they wanted to see they put into it its goal, its intent that it was supposed to achieve was to land the plane with a G-force as low as possible, basically landing it as softly as possible. And it would get a rating on how hard it landed the plane. So it wanted that number to be as low as possible. Well, after, I don't know, a few thousand trials, the AI discovered that in this simulator, if it crashed the plane directly into the ground as fast as it could, then the rating, the force rating, was 0, because the thing couldn't register the amount of force that in the simulation. So basically, the AI learned that the softest way to land the plane was to smash it into the ground as hard as possible. So it began doing that with every simulation. It was like, look, I did it. I found the best way to land the plane. You get a 0 G-force every time. So it was just a and imagine if that were a real AI, really landing planes, really killing everybody. But that's how you can end up with an AI where its intent is not to kill everybody, but you can still end up there if you ain't careful. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up, but James Fox, to be honest, James Fox asking about Prism. It's been a long time since I reviewed everything about Prism. I know it was leaked by Edward Snowden, but I don't remember specifically what that program did. So I'm not answering you to avoid it. I'm not answering you because it's been a long time since I reviewed the exact details of Prism, and I don't want to get it wrong. So anyway, I have 2 podcasts you guys hopefully have checked out. One's called Common Censored with Eleanor Goldfield. The other is called Government Secrets with Graham Elwood. I'd love for you to check them out. They're free. You can listen to them all the time, very easily. Government Secrets is the newer one. And also, I've started taking topics for the Moment of Clarity. So if you want to send me a topic, that's leecampmail@gmail.com. I do them every single weekday, except sometimes, at leecamp.com. And like I always say, I am incredibly suppressed. They are not going to tell you my videos come out. You are often, sometimes they will, but you're often not going to be alerted that I have a new video. So you have to make a choice each day. Do you want to go see the new video or not? And I hope you make that choice. Click subscribe, click the thumbs up. All right, keep fighting.